I want to talk about O.J. Simpson and racism. When O.J. Simpson was acquitted, there was a fury of rage that bubbled up at the golf course I belonged to at the time and other places that I had to interact with people. And they didn't understand. And I tried a little bit to explain, but then I gave up. There was a guy named Buddy Mason who was the grand old golf pro at Columbia Edgewater at the time, that actually fought his way into the U.S. Open as an amateur back in the day, I think twice. And he was just ranting after O.J. Simpson was acquitted. And I quietly mentioned that we do have a system of laws in this country, but he just absolutely didn't want to hear it. And of course, the reason he got acquitted was that when Rodney King was beaten in LA, some civilian had a camera and taped it. And that was, to my knowledge, the beginning of the people taping things and then it going, quote, going viral, taping cops beating on people. And so they took that case and the 6 officers that had beaten Rodney King so nakedly, openly on this film, they took it to a place called Simi Valley, which all I know about it is they say there's a tremendous concentration of police officers that live there out of the downtown of LA. And so they knew they would have a sympathetic jury, sympathetic to those white officers. So they took it out there and they got an acquittal. In spite of that damning video. And riots broke out. And I was running for Attorney General at the time, and I was invited in for the one and only real TV opportunity I had in that election. And I was paired with my opponent, Ted Kulongoski, and at a kind of a focal point of the interview, the guy said without warning, well, Mr. Wyers, what would you do in Los Angeles now with the rioting that's going on there? And I said, well, I think one of the things I would do would be to encourage people to develop more of an understanding of where these things come from. The poor employment opportunities, educational opportunities, housing. And I would be thinking about talking about using this as a time you could, I almost said teachable moment, but I wouldn't have said that. But a time to get the point across to people that we have a race problem in this country of discriminating against and beating down black people, and then you have the cops beating somebody on film, and then you acquit them. It's going to infuriate black people, and there you see what you see. And at those times they were showing tapes of things like people who own small convenience stores in the black neighborhoods up on the rooftop shooting black men that were breaking into their store and looting. They turned to Ted Kulongoski and said, well, Mr. Kulongoski, what would you do if you became elected Attorney General if something like this occurred? And he said, restore law and order. That was the right answer, huh? But I knew that. I ain't stupid, but I wasn't going to give in to that, and I didn't. And I'm proud of myself that I didn't. Then when O.J. Simpson killed his wife and her boyfriend in a horrible, horrible, vicious murder, that then they couldn't take that up into the Simi Valley and be sure to get a conviction of a violent black man, which that was violent, horrible, horrible thing he did. And he richly deserved 20 years in the penitentiary as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how upset he was, that's just too terrible. And he wasn't a poor, downtrodden black man. He was a rich, empowered one. But the black people in LA, when they kept it in town and they chose 7 black jurors, I knew they would acquit him. I don't care how much blood they found in his, they found blood in his car, for God's sake. Right, the evidence was so strong, acquitted him. And I was like, they weren't going to convict a black man for killing a white woman after all the things that have been done to black people over the years. Lynching people, castrating them before they're dead, because they winked at a white woman on the sidewalk in the South during Reconstruction. You think that black people are going to turn around and convict a black man of a crime like that? No way. People don't understand how powerful and deep the anger is underneath the smiles and the mild genuflection that black people provide for white people. Down underneath that, not all black people, I'm generalizing, but there is a simmering rage at the way they're being treated and the way they've been treated and the way their family and friends and everybody. My law clerk, who later became my law partner, she told me she went into the biggest department store in Portland to shop one day, and security started following her around. This is a woman who'd set a record in the 220 at Willamette University as an undergraduate, who always dressed meticulously and was about as honest and upright a human being as you could ever ask for. And they started following her around in the department store because she was black. That's what's happened to black people. Still. So yes, they acquitted O.J. Simpson.